Hi everybody, Amber here. Welcome back to In Conversation with ATF. My guest today is a voiceover artist, an actress, and an artist, and many other things, whatever you want to call her. You may know her as the voice of Dee Dee from Dexter's Laboratory. Well, I mean, the first Dee Dee. And the third. Well, I mean, there was only two, but first season, third season.
There was some sandwiching there.
There was some sandwiching, yeah, and we're gonna find out all about. We're gonna find out all about that today. And she's also a artist. I have just completely flubbed that. Okay, okay, here we go. You might know my guest also. She's also an artist. She does really beautiful artwork. I'm not being funny. I've looked. I'm blown away. It's better than I'm blown away. It's better than anything I can do. Better than anything I do for all these people on my wall. But honestly, I am so honoured to be interviewing this person because this is the first time she has ever done an interview regarding Dexter's Laboratory, Dexter's Lab. You know, this is the first time. This is an ATF exclusive. You're watching here, people. This is very important. My guest is Allison Moore. Hi, Allison. How are you?
Thank you. What a nice introduction. You're very good at this.
Thank you. I did flub a few times, but you know, it
doesn't matter.
It's not live. It is pre-recorded and then edited, but then, you know, stuff does happen, you know, you can trim it out and stuff, but it's not as satisfying when you do it a second time. It's so satisfying to do it all just in one take. Just
your first one was good
flawless.
Too.
Oh, thank you. But yeah, this is pretty interesting. I mean, of course, I did show you this tape. This is actually,
yes,
it is free when you buy any one of the Cartoon Network range. I don't even know, we got this from like what we call a thrift store in the UK. We call them charity shops. I think it's from there.
Yes.
But when we got this, I had to unwrap it to watch it. This was, I'd say, maybe 5-10 years ago. It was in cellophane still when I bought it from that thrift shop.
Well, the fact that you have some place to show it, I think that's most people don't have VHS players right now. Those are also in the charity shops.
Yeah, that's
you can buy this along with a player. Free with player.
Yeah, with the free and at least 50 other tapes. It's mainly like it's only like cartoon. Oh, whoops, the microphone there. Kids show tapes and cartoons and stuff that I'm interested in. I mean, me and my brother, we both have autism. Absolutely love VHS tapes and players.
What is it that you like about VHS?
They're just so old, and as a kid, unfortunately, me and my brother, as kids, we were a little bit destructive. So obviously, we had VHS tapes, but we didn't really, obviously, because with our autism, we didn't really know. So unfortunately, a lot of them we would end up ripping out the tape and stuff. I mean, you know, thankfully, it wasn't any important home videotapes, but we did. A lot of VHS tapes were sacrificed during that period.
So you feel like you've mastered it at this point in your life, and now you know how to use them and not ruin them.
Yeah, and they're just so cool. I mean, DVD just doesn't hit right. It's just nice because it reminds me of when I was young, essentially.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Yeah, that's it. I still like to play records, even though they don't sound that great compared to just streaming something. I mean, I think they do if you have the right equipment, but that's a whole nother level. But I just like the packaging. I like the whole visual experience and the touching and things like that. Yeah. So maybe that's part of it.
I think it is. Yeah, we have a vinyl player downstairs, and we do play on it quite a lot.
Yeah, it's like multi-sensory.
It's beautiful. It really is. And just because you said the word charity shop, it comes back to England, doesn't it? Because you lived in England. Makeup brush.
Yes.
You lived in England.
Can I just tell you, when I lived in England, I actually had a job working as a manager for a charity shop.
Oh, you're kidding.
So, very familiar. Yes.
I've got to ask you, did you ever get any Dexter's Lab stuff donated?
I don't know, because I think I lived there when it was still kind of playing and still kind of popular. So I didn't, they weren't in the charity shops yet.
Ah, right. When would you say this was? Sort of in the mid-2000s?
I lived in England in the, let's see, I moved there in, I think 2006. So like 20 years ago. And then I stayed there for 6 years.
Oh, right, okay.
So I stayed there for most, like the rest of the aughts.
Wow, yeah. Oh, that's so cool. I just imagine if you were up north, we could have been neighbours.
We could have been neighbours. When you look at the map, it looks like we would have been because England looks really small on a map. But when you're there, you realize how long driving it
And you
is to
compare it
get
to the States,
anywhere.
like 17 hours to drive somewhere. I'm thinking, you can't achieve that here.
I know.
Come
Well,
on.
I'm in California, and
Hey.
I remember looking when I lived in England. I remember looking at maps, or maybe I was just looking at the numbers of population or something. And
Yeah.
at the time, it seemed like the state of California had twice the amount of land
Mm-hmm.
as the United Kingdom, but the United Kingdom had twice the amount of people and half the amount of land. So that gives you an idea of how much space we have where I am and how many more people it feels like you can have where you are. People are
Yeah.
much on top of, like towns are sort of more on top of each other with like green spaces between, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. Yeah. Well, honestly, Alison, I have so much to unpack with you. I've got fan questions. I've got everything to ask you, like just everything.
Okay.
So I'm gonna start all the way from the beginning. Growing up, did you grow up with any Hanna-Barbera cartoons? I mean, this tape, ignore my squeaky chair, this tape is like pretty much
Yes.
all Hanna-Barbera, like the final
Yes.
years. But what did you grow up watching as a
I
child?
grew up watching Scooby-Doo for sure. Sometimes I
Mm-hmm.
still think about Scooby-Doo, and I feel
Hey.
like the endings of it where they'd always take the mask, like the mask off, whoever the
Yeah.
culprit was. Oh, it's so and so. I feel like what's happening in our government and everything. I
Oh
just constantly
yeah,
feel like
yeah.
I'm in a Scooby-Doo episode, like, okay, the mask is off, the mask is off. So
Let's
yeah,
see
it did
it.
influence me the way I see life, those Hanna-Barbera cartoons. There was a lot of Looney Tunes actually were still a big deal when I was young and
Yeah,
yeah. But we
that's
only got
cool.
cartoons on Saturday mornings back then.
Remind me, when were you born again?
I was
Forgive me
born in
for asking.
1971. So I grew up in the heyday of the cartoons. Well, I guess cartoons had happened before that too. But it was a time where kids TV was only on Saturday mornings, really. And there was like the kids would get up early at like I want to say like 8 or something, and
Mm-hmm.
before that there would be nothing on the TV. There would just be these rainbow lines. I really feel
Like
like
the
I'm
little
going into the
the
vault with these
bleep screen.
memories.
I don't even
Yeah,
know
it
what
was
it's
like
called.
zzz,
Test card.
zzz,
That's what it's
we're
called.
not there. Very digital looking.
Yeah.
And then, they would roll out. Sometimes there were cartoons, but there were also some live action things that began to happen. And that time it was very exciting. And then at a certain hour, it would stop and you'd move into like Three's Company, which is like kind of this like raunchy show, kind of,
Mm-hmm.
and we would watch
Yeah.
that too, and we would watch Charlie's Angels and whatever rolled out, and then Benny Hill would be on, which was disgusting.
Oh.
So it was a strange time because like, I think it was when kids were like left alone, like put the kids on the TV um, before you wake up the parents. Parents get their
Yeah.
time away, but they didn't really realize how the cartoons turned into also watching very grown-up stuff because there was nothing else on.
Yeah. Man, I forgot Benny Hill aired in America. Man,
Horrible, horrible.
you got a lot of stuff. You do get a lot
It's
of
not
stuff
for
from
kids
us.
or really adults. Yeah,
It's for a specific group, which I don't know
specific
what that
kind of
is.
person. Yes.
A sick, twisted one, like me.
Anyway, that was a long answer, but it
No,
brought it
it's
back.
fine. It's fine, don't worry. Oh god, oh god. So, we're gonna forward now because I believe your only your only voiceover credit is Dexter's Lab. Did you ever envision of becoming an actress? At
Oh
all?
yes.
Maybe a voice?
Oh
Okay, so
yes.
it wasn't your it was okay. It was in
Yes,
your
I wanted to be an
mirror.
actress my whole life. I was in all the school plays from an early age, or at least tried to be in the school plays. It became a little bit of an identity thing,
Mm-hmm.
like this is the only thing I want to do. And I went to an amazing college, which is
Mm-hmm.
where I met some of these people that developed the show.
Okay.
But
Okay.
I was an actor. I was an actor at that college, California Institute of the Arts. Had a
Oh
great education, had a great lot of really great experiences. Moved on to do this show shortly after that, and then continued theater, and then I stopped. But yes, I always wanted to act.
wow. So you went to college with Gendy Tartakovsky,
Hmm.
and you became great friends, obviously. And
Hmm.
it was then that he asked you, like, he was making a show and he wanted you to
Yes.
be in it.
Yeah. So I was in my first year at this amazing art school, which was just, it was really good for kids like us because um, everybody was really creative, but there were like different schools of art. So it was a big animation school there. And at the time, that was kind of the place to hire animators from, because now I think they have more animation schools. But at the time, it was kind of based on like Disney's connections,
Yeah.
close to LA and everything. So these animators, that part of their project was to make a film by the time they graduated or something. Maybe it was a second year thing. I don't know. But they had to like make a short black and white film. And so Gandhi asked me, because I was his friend, to come up. And I would hang out with him and his roommate, Rob, who is also an animator. And we would watch like Ren and Stimpy and stuff together. I was kind of like a little sister, I felt like to them. And then, yeah, I did the voice for them for that little thing. And that I had no idea where
Yeah,
it was
lost
going to
cartoon
go.
pilot.
It
Yeah.
was just him and his, I think his roommate played Dexter, and I played Dee Dee, and then Gendy directed it. It
That's
was
so
very
cool.
short.
Yeah,
But it's the
yeah,
thing that eventually became the first one,
yeah,
where
yeah.
they had
Because
the animals. They keep
yeah,
changing each other
because
into animals.
a lot of people got their start on what a cartoon. I mean, yeah, David Feast because he did the short No Smoking, which obviously evolved into Cow and Chicken, and I believe the Powerpuff Girls started out on What a Cartoon, if I'm not
Yep,
mistaken.
that's
Yeah, and
right.
it's so interesting because you look at these shows and you think that's not Hanna Barbera. It's not got um that specific art style from the '60s and stuff, and you just think it's because it's from a different cartoonist. It's from Craig McCracken, Gendy Tartakovsky, David
Well, yeah,
Feast.
I think Hanna-Barbera had been kind of, they had a brand that was really
Yeah,
popular for a long time. Like a lot of the cartoons that we would watch would be reruns over the years, and then they might update them, and then you got sort of like, I don't know, a bunch of stuff happened after that with I want to say like Masters of the Universe kind of stuff.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Whereas a
Filmation
little
stuff. Yeah,
more like superhero kind of, and superheroes always been popular in cartoons, but there was sort of that, and they just kind of kept having that for a while. And after, through Hanna-Barbera, there was a look, like you said.
yep.
And I think when those guys, I don't even know if they graduated, but when they were hired, there was like a whole new energy look, like a new connection. Like it was generational,
Yeah,
I'm sure. Like these were the guys that came in and said, you know what, we love these certain cartoons. We want to bring that feeling back. And they were really into nostalgia. So they were going for this sort of 50s thing. And I
yeah,
wonder sometimes if that's a reason that these shows like Dexter's Lab and Powerpuff Girls really maintained the test of time, because they were, even when they were made, they seemed like they were from an earlier time,
yeah,
that they were like making the cartoons they would have wanted to see back then.
yeah. Now I've just googled and I must apologise. I did pronounce his name wrong. It is Iwao Tatamoka, I believe. I keep getting
That
that. No,
sounds
it's
good.
it.
I don't know.
I get the K and the T mixed up. It is Iwao Takamoto. I keep thinking it's Tatamoka. I do confuse myself, but that is how you pronounce his name, and I do apologise for mispronouncing that. Again, I really should refresh myself. I feel awful now
If
because
he's listening, we're sorry.
he passed in 2007. Unless he's
Well,
listening from
he
Belgium.
probably doesn't mind as much then.
Yeah, his spirit. I hope he forgives me. But
Welcome here.
honestly,
Yes, welcome here.
yeah. So, what was your reaction when you found out that Dexter had been greenlit essentially for a full series?
Oh yeah, I hadn't even graduated yet from CalArts, so I was still there, and I got a call from Gendy, and I believe that I still, even before that, would go down sometimes to visit them at work. Like I don't know, I can't remember if I did or not, but I feel like I maintained a sense of friendship. Like I think I would have always felt welcome, I guess, even if I didn't visit at that point. But I began to visit once I got the show. But anyway, I feel like it was a real, yeah, it was a shock. It was very, very cool. All the people in my class were trying to, what are we going to do next? We're like trying to get in with agents and everything. And somehow I got this call asking me to do this thing that sounded pretty easy. I still had to audition, and get my SAG card. And I remember like, yeah, just going down through that before I graduated. And it was very surreal to already be working because I had a lot of insecurity
Hmm.
about going after jobs, and that in the end actually is probably why I stopped acting. Was just I
Yeah.
really also have neurodivergence and some rejection sensitivity that was really not developed very well at that stage in my life. And so it was
So
really nice for me to have a job that I had already created and I could just go out and like, I can do this one because I made the character. And I think that was a really big thing for my confidence at the time,
you
instead of
say,
like another thing you didn't get accepted for, you know.
yeah, yeah. You say neurodivergence. Are you
I have
autistic by any chance?
ADHD. Yeah.
Oh, you have ADHD. Well, close enough. I'm
I'm
autistic.
actually a late diagnosed ADHDer from like
Oh,
only a
wow.
couple of years ago.
Oh,
I also
wow.
have a teenage daughter who has both autism and ADHD.
Oh,
So I learned a
wow.
lot about
Awesome.
myself through her.
Oh, wow. That's so awesome. I'm, well,
Yeah, yeah. I think a lot of people that are interested in, the things that we're talking about, not necessarily when
yeah,
I'm the way I'm talking about it, but like the field of cartoons and entertainment and fanfare and all that are, you have to have a mind that's very imaginative, I think, to stay in that community. There's just so much
yeah.
available for neurodivergent people. And so I
Yeah.
love going to meet people because I'm like, I think Dee Dee had some of this too, for sure.
Definitely. Definitely.
Yeah. She's like my inner child that I hadn't been diagnosed till later.
Oh, that's so sweet. Well, honestly, I think it's slightly scary because you said teenage daughter. I was like, is she older or younger than me? But then I keep forgetting I'm 22 next week, and I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm an
yeah.
adult. No, she's definitely younger than
Well, it's
me. I'm
good
like,
to keep your inner teenager
I
with
keep
you.
thinking of a teenager. It's so crazy. I
Yeah,
don't
my
see it.
daughter is nearly 16.
I presumed it was sort of in the mid teens. That's cool though. Honestly, have you shown her Dexter? Yeah.
Yeah, she thinks it's cool, but she's ahead of me on everything.
Yeah.
It's cool. She likes to go to the conventions with me, but she's not going to sit there and watch
Oh.
Dexter's Lab with me.
Oh.
She's got her own things that are cool.
Yeah, yeah. That's what 16 year olds
Yeah.
do. I mean, it all changes when you get into adulthood. You have different priorities. You start getting into more
hmm
cartoons. You start binge watching them. You start going to more conventions. I mean, that's pretty much what's happened with me.
Well,
But
conventions are new to me. I've
I was
only
gonna say
begun to do them, and
let's quickly sidetrack.
okay.
You're now with Celebworks in LA, who
Yes.
represent pretty much 90% of all classic voice actors from
They have a
your
lot
favorite
of
shows.
clients.
I know,
Yeah.
yeah. So how did that quickly come about, and what was your first convention you went to?
Um, yeah, I'm sorry, I keep talking about other things and not letting you ask me all the
No,
questions
it's
that you
fine.
have
It's fine.
there.
But I'd say let's just sidetrack real quick. How
Okay.
did you get involved into like
Well,
load? That's the
a
detour.
short story, I guess, is that my agent Chris Jones called me. There had been, I, like you mentioned earlier, I haven't been acting, or I guess I mentioned earlier, I haven't been acting for a long time. Dee Dee has always been a part of my sort of personal mythology because every once
Yeah.
in a while I'll get like reminders that I did that or whatever. So it's very much like kind of like this little piece of me that sort of shows up from time to time.
Yeah.
But I had kind of moved back into like doing very different things. I got out of LA, I got out of New York, I started painting and everything. And so, and even the stuff about me online wasn't correct. I just didn't have the energy to like figure out how to change it. It just wasn't my field. So I was
Hmm.
like, okay, well, whatever. Carry on, doing my life. And then Chris called me out of the blue a couple years ago and was like, hey, I think I got some of your other cartoon family on my roster here. I think it'd be really great if you could show up with them. And so I started to go to some of these and got to see my old cartoon family. And it's like been amazing, but it's kind of like time travel because I was out of it for so long. And now it's like, what? They know who I am. Or this particular show had such an effect on this many people. And it's really like it's really surreal and special to get to experience that. Not everybody gets
Definitely.
to do that with their legacy of
Yeah.
artwork, you know?
Yeah, well, I mean, if you weren't doing conventions, we wouldn't have met because my friend went to NostalgiaCon Anaheim. My friend Max obviously met you, and I was like, "Look, I'm looking for more people to interview," and like, Alison, I just can't get a hold of. Can I
Yeah,
can you
I'm
pass
I'm
my
not easy
message?
to get a hold of. I go with a different last name.
Because
It's
you go
my
with a different last
Allison
name. If I
Adams.
knew, yeah, yeah,
My Allison Moore is my Dee Dee
stage
actor
name,
name
yeah.
for sure, and that's what I will sign, and that's what I will be presented as. But if you look for me online, you can look up Allison Adams, and I'm
Allison
an artist.
Adams. That's
Because
so cool.
I got
Yeah.
married and I changed my name.
Yeah. No, I completely get that. I completely understand.
Yeah,
Definitely. I've just got a loose
so
strand of
fun.
hair just hanging there. It always helps
Well,
sometimes.
I'm kind of, I gotta say, like, I'm kind of a surreal type person, you know, maybe it's some of that
Yeah.
stuff that we talked about before with just neurodivergent brains, but I think it's just, I have a lot of of imagination and it kind of moves me through life. And that way, I do
Yeah.
think that the more I recognize Dee Dee is like my inner child, kind of, and I'm like her grown up Dee Dee, I
Yeah.
also recognize she had a lot of, very magical qualities about her.
Yeah.
She
Definitely.
kind of the, um, she brought the conflict in, and in some ways she could be seen as the instigator or the villain or whatever. But
Definitely.
she was so um, uninfluenced and uninfluenceable. She wasn't.
Yeah.
She just stayed who she was, no matter what. She just kept saying, "I'm curious and I'm big," and she's just so much larger than life, but so free. And she could communicate with animals, and she had this higher sense of, I think, a kind of almost awareness in her immature way. I could
Mhm.
see. Um, and very full of life, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know where I started with that whole thing, but feeling like
That's
that
alright.
that
Don't
that
worry.
Dee Dee character is, I'm just trying to remember what I was trying to bring it back to. But
I think it
but
was the
that feeling of
convention
her
story,
being,
maybe.
I'm sorry?
I think it was because we were talking about conventions, maybe, was it?
Oh yes, thank you. Yeah.
Yes,
So
yeah.
I go in, thank you. Happens all the
You're
time.
welcome. That's
Um,
fine.
I go into those places and it's like it feels like because my world is so different and I'm not around a lot of actors anymore, even though I was, I used to be when I was young,
Yeah.
but my life is filled with different mundane things and I don't know all the names of people and I have other things. And then I go to those conventions and I kind of
Yeah.
am able to move into this loving, connective energy of this character that people kind of project on me and I also get to experience from them and the joy of their memories and everything. My voice gets higher through the day and it's a little bit hard for me to unwind afterwards. And I noticed that there's something there that's like a place that I go into and that's what I mean, like it's almost like a portal, like, and maybe that's just the magical part of me that looks at life
Yeah.
like that, but it's almost like it's like a gift. You just get to go in and suddenly there's this whole other realm that I'm invited to that I didn't know existed. And
Yeah.
I find it really, really cool.
I'm glad you do. It is lovely.
Hmm.
Every con I go to is just as entertaining as the last, the next.
Yeah.
Everything I do like that. I
Yeah.
mean,
And I get to meet other actors. And when I'm around other actors too, I'm talking a lot with you because I am a talker, but when I'm around other actors who often are talkers as well, I do tend to pull back and listen, especially
yeah,
since they know more about the field these days than I do. So I also, on the other hand, there's a part of me that leans back and
yeah,
observes and learns at the same time. So it's
yeah.
a really interesting experience for me.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Now, we gotta move on to the main series, Dexter's
Okay.
Lab. Now, honestly, what a stacked cast, but there is one person in that cast that is literally. I have a lot to say about her, but just like, if she was still around today, she would 100% be welcome
Mm.
on my podcast. Christine Kavanagh.
Yes. Yeah.
Like, just her resume it's outstanding. She was Dexter, she was Babe Pig,
Babe the
Alina,
Pig, my
Chucky.
favorite.
She did a lot of stuff.
Yeah, she was really
But
special.
yeah, I was gonna say, what was it like to work with her?
Okay, remember when I first started? Like I've been talking about a
Uh-huh.
lot of different things, but when I first
Yeah.
started, I was very young. She was young too, but she'd been in the you
I
know,
think
in the working
she was
field.
10 years older than you because I think she was
She
born in
may have
60, you were
been,
born in
yeah.
the 70s,
Everybody
yeah.
seemed the same age when they were in their
Yeah.
20s.
But you played, but you were
She
the
seemed
older
young.
sibling.
Yeah, I don't remember how old she was, but she was more experienced than me for sure. So were the other actors that were in there at the time. I think I was the only one that was brand new
Ah,
to
nice.
to voiceover, and I had the support of those guys that, you know, knew me from school. So
Yeah.
I felt like, you know, for me, it was really nice, nurturing environment, but I was still like kind of in awe of the talent. And like I said, I kind of pull back and just listen to other actors because they're so funny and so on, like they think just they can come up with voices sometimes. The voiceover actors, especially, just come up with these and funny personifications of someone as a joke. It's like I would have to like think about getting there, and they're just flipping around with all these accents, and I just was like, I am so out of my depth. But it was, yeah, she was a real mentor to me because she was just like she's like her voice says she's just full of it's invites you in. She's funny. She makes you laugh. She's
Yeah.
just yeah. I just loved her, and that was really really sad to hear that she had died. And
Yeah.
I think about
Yeah.
that sometimes still. Yeah, but they have a
Yeah.
great Dexter now. Like then we got Candy in there, and
Yes.
she
Well, I
did
did.
just as well.
I completely forgot. Give me a second. I don't know how I could forget this because this is so out of character for me when it's right in my room. I have a Cartoon Network Loungefly bag and Dee Dee is on it. On the
Oh, see, can I do a convention? I'll sign it for you.
Yes, because I have another one of these that I have signatures on. I think already I've got to sign it. I have Richard
How could you have
signed.
forgotten about that?
I don't. It just
And why
completely
isn't
skipped
Dee
my
Dee on
mind.
the front?
Dexter's on the front. Well,
All
I mean,
right.
mixed. I mean, they've got a lot of. I mean, Courage is on the back, and you know, Bubbles is on the back. Well, yeah, Richard Horvitz has signed it. Candy Milo has signed it because obviously
Yeah.
she was Coco
Yeah,
and
Candy.
Dexter. That it was when you mentioned Candy because she signed it at San Diego Comic Con. This bag for me, and
Yeah.
I think Marty Grabstein has signed it as well. So
Yes, I've met him as well.
I need everybody else. I mean, I know Jeff Bennett.
Yeah.
So
Well,
he'll
I
be
get to
signing
go.
it.
I get to go when I go. Yeah. The dad
Forever.
also.
I just had him on recently, Jeff Bennett. Oh my god!
And that he
What
was
a
there at the
guy.
beginning also
He was,
with
yes.
Candy,
Oh,
and
what a
he was
guy.
another one that was so funny. I was just like, you guys are like, I think I go in there and try to learn, not exactly how to do it, but I just put them a little bit on a pedestal. You know, any kind
Yeah.
of talented person I put on a pedestal, I'm just
There,
like, oh wow,
there's you. You can just about see her there.
oh there she is.
Good old Loungefly. I don't know if
Yay.
there's a Dexter's Lab bag. You know what? I'm gonna have to look this up now because it's. Come on, there must be. There must be. Let's have a look. Give me a second. Dexter's Laboratory.
Yeah, it's harder to find this
Loungefly.
stuff. Although, I don't know, I see people wearing t-shirts and stuff all the time. Like, where'd you get that? Oh, it just came out. I'm like, oh,
There,
some people know where to get stuff.
there is a Dexter Loungefly. There is a Dexter Loungefly.
Ah.
And better yet, look who's on the back.
Oh, on the back again, getting in trouble.
Yeah. I don't know what the inside material is like. I'm actually intrigued now to see. Oh, it's all the
Oh yeah, keep out.
all the keep outside. That's so funny. I really
That's cute.
wow. Now I really want to get it and get a Candy to sign it. I don't know. I wonder how rare it is because I don't. Wait. Oh, hang on. There's one on Amazon. Give me a second. Currently unavailable. I don't even know when it was released, but it does glow in the dark.
Oh.
You might have seen that in the dark. It would be terrifying. If it exists, there's a Loungefly of it. That's probably what I have to say. No, I can't. I literally can't find it. I can't find it for sale anywhere.
So that means that you have something very valuable.
Well, that I can find for sale. The Dexter Loungefly, I can't find for sale
Oh.
anywhere. But wow, that's so cool. Oh, hang on. No, there is a place online. Is that a real place. It claims to have it at $70, but it looks like a dodgy website, so I'm not going to bother with that.
Yeah, save your money for flights so that you can go to more conventions.
Yeah. Oh, it was an exclusive. So it was released in 2024 as an exclusive for do you know what 707 Street is? Oh, it's a Loungefly retailer. It was an exclusive to them in America. Damn it! I'm gonna have to look for it at my next convention.
You are good with all this stuff. You know all the things. You know where to find things. You know the names of people. This is a good platform for you because you know your stuff.
Look, as much as I love Dexter, I'm just sad there isn't a Dee Dee Loungefly.
Me too. Yeah.
That would be cool. And then on the back of it, you can have Dexter.
Right. I know. I guess Dee Dee might have thought it was Dee Dee's lab. I guess it requires a new angle of storytelling. That's why she was in there all the time.
Yeah. So, do you keep in touch with anyone from the show? And did you keep in touch with Chris before she passed, or?
No, not really. I have to say that this is, again, I'm going to age myself, but in the 90s, like the internet was still kind of like, it wasn't as social as it is now. It was kind of like not everybody even had, I don't think I even had a computer when that show started. I probably didn't even have my own computer until like the later 90s. And I think that started in like 90, I want to say it started in 92, or maybe it was later. Maybe it was 94 or something. But it was in the earlier 90s. You can probably tell me when the show started.
97, I think, maybe. I don't know.
Huh?
1997?
No, I think the first one started earlier than that because I was doing it before I moved to New York in 95.
Oh yeah, it was 1996. It was 96. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, so they might have like put it out then or something. Maybe.
Yeah.
But yeah. Anyway, not important.
So you did, well, yeah, because Chris, I think she moved out of LA and then moved to Utah where she lived before she passed. So I don't think she really kept in touch with.
Yeah, I think she kind of fell off the grid as far as being in the industry. I wasn't close enough to her to have her like, personal phone number.
I know someone who...
She was a colleague, but I still like, and I just have to say, I mean, Dexter, she was great at Dexter, and so is Candy, but Babe the Pig is one of my all-time favorite movies, and I didn't even realize when I saw it that this was the same person that I'd been working with. She was very humble. She didn't talk about those things, and I was like, that movie was so amazing. It was her the whole time. So yeah,
I think it's so lovely.
Yeah, she was great.
Definitely. Is there any other Cartoon Network stars that you've met? I know you said you've met Marty. Have you met Charlie Adler before?
No, I don't think so. Have you?
I have, yes. I did a workshop with him.
Cool.
Like a voiceover workshop. Yeah. I was going to say, because you were both at NostalgiaCon in Anaheim. I just didn't know if you...
I may have met him. Probably shouldn't put this on here. I can't. I'd have to... The names part goes out the window.
It's fine. The cow chicken man. Yeah.
But you're doing voiceover also.
Yes. And it's...
This is great. This is great practice, what you're doing, though.
Thank you. It's just hard because it's easier. It's been easier for me to get an agent in the US than it has in the UK. I've submitted to every agency here, and I've not had any luck at all.
So you can go remotely? Can you do it remotely, or do you have to go to LA for jobs?
Well, I was with an agency in LA. I freelanced with them for a little bit because to work with them, obviously, if you live in the UK, you have to have a visa and stuff, which is pretty expensive. Unfortunately, that didn't work out. So I'm still sort of scouting. I have applied to another agency. I haven't heard back, but I'm crossing my fingers because they did say they were looking for talent living in the United Kingdom. So fingers crossed, maybe. They are based in Santa Monica though, so they are sort of LA based.
Well, now you can. I mean, except for the visa thing, and you can sort that part out.
Yeah, exactly.
But you can stuff, you can now do more voiceover from anywhere. I know that the kind of big stars a lot of times don't even leave their houses because they have stuff set up for that. It wasn't like that when I was younger, and that's why I stopped doing it because they didn't do it remotely, and I was like, I want to move to New York and be a stage actress. And then, I wish I had been able to do it from there, but then I moved back and did it again.
Now, this is where it all gets a little bit weird because you left after season 1. Well, I read online that you moved to New York to start a Broadway career. Kat
Well,
Preston then took
yes,
over as
Broadway
Dee Dee.
didn't exactly happen, but
Did
that
it
was the
not? I'm
idea
sorry.
of stage, not necessarily Broadway singing, but being an actor on
Yeah. And
stage. Yeah.
then the show took a 2 year. Was it a break or did it actually end in '98 and then Gendy brought
I
it back in
think there was well,
2001?
I came back at the end when I moved back to LA, and by that point, yeah, I don't know if they had taken any time between. I was sort of out of the, knowing what was going on. Again, going back to the VHS, we didn't have streaming of anything, and the shows you had to have Cartoon Network paid for
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
order for you to watch it back
Yeah.
then, and then eventually, it came out on VHS and everything.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really, I didn't have access to watch a lot of the shows that I had actually made. And then I was in my 20s, so I wasn't gonna like go buy a cable to like watch something.
Yeah.
Like I didn't need to pay to watch cartoons back then. But then, what was so wonderful is that they kept. I mean, I've made a lot of residuals over the years. Like when I've really
Nice.
needed some money, there's sometimes a check, and sometimes I think of her as a little bit of a, financial angel for me that way. Like
Yeah.
showing
Well,
up, like, oh, there's Dee Dee again. And part of the reason I didn't forget about the show is because there was still, connection to that from time to time in checks in the mail. Sometimes they were only like 2 cents,
yeah. Well, you
but it was
should
still a
still.
reminder that it was something I had done.
Yeah. Well, you should still be getting residuals because Me TV. You've heard of Me TV Tunes, right? That still has Dexter's Lab. So.
Yeah, I do get them from time to time.
Oh, okay, okay. So you still
I
get
don't,
them?
yeah, I
Oh,
get them from
okay.
time
I
to
thought
time.
you,
It's
I thought you
totally
stopped.
random,
I
but it's
thought you
amazing
stopped.
because it's been like 30 years, more than 30 years,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
20, I don't know. The 90,
30th anniversary
you do the
this year.
math.
30th
What?
anniversary this year. It's the 30th anniversary of
Oh, okay. Well, then it
Dexter's Lab.
has been
Well,
30 years.
the series at least. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And then,
So it's a
oh, sorry,
big
go
part
on.
of my story, even though I wasn't there. The fact that I get to come back into it reminds me that sometimes you play a character that's larger than life and you don't know who it's going to be, and it will
Yeah,
stay with you even if you get out of the industry. That
certainly.
character stays with you
Uh huh.
and it's yours.
Yeah,
That's the thing about it to me is like that character is mine. Like I created
yeah,
that voice. So when I go
yeah.
and I get insecure, so not insecure, but when I get a little shy about what am I doing? I'm out of my depth at this place. I haven't been in the field. I don't know how to act this way. I don't think it now, but I did at first when I started doing the conventions. I kind of had to move through some of that awkwardness. And I have to remind myself that I made that voice. I made that voice. I'm like, ooh, what does this button do? And all I have to do is go there,
I didn't
and then
realize that
it's
was
like,
you.
oh yeah, what am I
I
thinking
didn't.
about? Just be Dee Dee, have fun.
I didn't know if that was you or Kat. So for me to say that, I'm like, whoa,
There she
whoa.
is. Yeah, well, that's
There
kind of
she
all
is.
she said.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
not,
yeah.
she didn't. It was lots of oohs and woo, and ah, very this and that, but it's
Yeah.
still like it's mine. It's mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
It
so
certainly
that
is.
makes me
Yeah.
feel like it reconnects me to like my place in the whole
Yeah.
with that character. Like she's kind of a little bit she'll always be with me, right?
Definitely, yeah. So, and the one thing I don't understand is you did season 3, and then it was Cat again in season 4. What happened? Did you
Yeah,
have?
I don't know. I think there was a situation where maybe there was maybe I didn't have an agent, or and I was kind I don't know. There's
I think
something else that happened outside
online.
of that, like a
I was gonna
connect,
say,
like inside connection. And by then I'd already moved a little bit away, and I wasn't really pursuing it. So it would have been nice, but I don't have any hard
I
feelings.
think according to Behind the Voice Actors, which is pretty much what I use for everything nowadays.
Yeah,
Uh,
tell me because
it's
I don't know.
Behind the Voice Actors, it just like tells your character who
Yeah,
voiced them.
yeah.
It's like a date. It's like a database.
Yes.
That's the easiest way to explain it.
Yes.
But it says for Dee Dee, it just says known as Diddy in Japan apparently. Diddy. Where did I see it? It was the voice compares. It says here yeah. However, Kat was brought back for the next season at the request of Cartoon Network, who felt viewers were most used to her. You sounded the same. How could you be used?
Well, again, I think at that point I wasn't pursuing life as an actor. I moved away from that after some.
Oh, right.
So I
Okay.
came back and I was still around, but I wasn't auditioning and I wasn't really like I moved a little further away and would come up. So I don't know that I was the most convenient person.
Yeah.
But you know, and apparently that was her. I was reading a little bit about her. I've never met her. She's done a lot of work. But
I was gonna ask her
every
if
once in a
you
while
ever met her.
I'll see her signature come through at the conventions and I'll be like, oh wow, she's already signed this thing.
Yeah. Well,
So
I'm
there's
trying
this
to.
sort of other person. I don't know if she's knows. I mean, I'm sure she knows about me because she followed my voice, but it was so long ago, and I have yet to meet her. That will be an interesting experience
I
when
was
that
gonna
happens.
say, yeah. I've tried to get her for my podcast, but I've not heard back. So I
Yeah.
mean, you're my
Yeah,
favorite Dee
you can
Dee.
ask
So
her when you do. I don't know. But it is weird to think like that you did a voice where somebody copied your voice. So I
yeah,
can't always,
yeah,
I can't even tell the
yeah.
difference sometimes. I have to look and see which ones they were because there were so many.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah, it
it's
happens.
just being an original. What can I do? What can I say?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I actually have some fan questions here because I
Oh, okay.
posted. Sorry, I have a makeup brush here. I use
Is
it.
that like a little microphone? Like
No,
those
it's
little
actually
fuzzy
it's
microphones they use on TikTok?
no. This is my proper microphone here. This is a snowball
Yeah.
microphone. This is just I use this for like dust in my room whenever I feel like it. I just use it sometimes as a fidget toy when I can't concentrate and stuff. I have fan questions. Sorry,
Okay.
this strand of hair's doing my head in a little bit. I put on my YouTube saying I was interviewing you, and I had some people come forward with a few fan questions.
Okay.
To those of you who, if I don't read your question, it's because we've already talked about it. I.e., what was it like working with Chris Kavanagh? What was it like, or why did Allison leave after season 1? Why didn't Allison come back for season 4? We've already answered those. Okay. No offense. Okay, so
Hopefully, somewhere in there, there's an answer.
Oh,
Yeah.
whew, yeah. Okay. Let's get started. So Harry wants to know what is your favorite episode of Dexter's Lab, if you do have one.
My favorite episode or my favorite experience recording an episode?
Ooh, I'd like to know both, if that's okay
Okay.
with you. I'd like
All
to know
right.
what your favorite experience was. To be fair.
Well, I think my favorite experience was when we got to work with Mark Hamill. That was very, very
Awesome.
cool. And I could talk about, I'm saying I was an actor. I loved acting. I always wanted to act, but I get a little like I step back around like experienced people and celebrities and just kind of observe and try to learn. I don't know how fully present I am. So I was a little like that during the show, but what was so great was there were every once in a while we get a celebrity in there. Like Dom DeLuise was another big one that you might not know, but the guys there loved. And all of the animators would just like come around and like press their everybody in the building would be like pressed around whoever could be in
I
the booth.
know.
And it was like this it was just like my daughter's here. Oh, okay. Just a second. She's doing it. Why don't you take that into your room? You might have to cut this part out because
That's
she's
okay.
shuffling without pencil
No.
thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Here we go. Here we
Okay.
go.
So the animators and the different people that were working in the building would come. They were fans of Mark Hamill, for example, and they
Yeah.
would just be there. And it felt like it was just so cool to be a part of this room. Again, there's a part of me that kind of dissociates a little when I'm there. And I'm like, am I even here with these people? I was so much talent in the room. And I will never forget that. That was like being close to greatness because I was a big Star Wars fan. I went to see Star Wars in the movie theaters and stuff when I was growing
Ooh.
up. And a big part of my generation, I just that was amazing. Cool. Now that was the episode where he plays the uncle of he's like the Irish uncle
Yeah.
who's like St. Patrick's Day, and that one was really cute. But I would say my favorite episode, which is I think about it and this is just always my answer. There's one about Old Man Dexter. Do you ever see that one? I'm not sure which. I hope it's one that I
No,
did. I
I'm
think
not
it
sure. Let's
is.
have a look. Old Man Dexter.
I'm pretty sure I did that one.
Ego Trip, the episode would have been called. Let's have a look. Was it you? Was it you? It was. I think it. Oh no, it would have been Kat. I think so.
Was it her?
Season 2, maybe. Oh wait, hang on.
Well, then I will better say that the first episode is my favorite.
Have you?
But actually, the first episode is my favorite because because that was the episode that we made together at the beginning.
Aw.
That was the episode that was just an idea in like black and white flip
Yeah.
book almost. It was very very simple. And then a couple years later, it was this fully formed thing with music, and that's that one's still I've seen probably the most. It was their pilot episode,
Yeah.
and I think it's just a standalone piece of great,
Yeah.
great
Definitely.
cartooning. All those shows were, but I think that first episode really nailed the whole thing. After that, they could kind of go off in different directions, but yeah, that's definitely. I think it's a great piece of filming.
Definitely. Definitely. Have you seen the episode Dexter and Computress get Mandark? The one from season
I don't
1.
remember. Like I'm the worst to guess at this
I
because I
was
can't
gonna.
remember all the names of the episode.
What was?
I'm 54. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say because it was a fan-made episode that was done by a boy called Tyler Lee. I had him on my podcast last year.
Oh, it's something I can watch.
Yeah, and he did.
Okay, yeah.
He did all the voices. He recorded it on tape. Sent
Oh
it
no, then
to
I
Cartoon
haven't seen it.
Network.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I sent it to Cartoon Network, and then Gendy was like, "Yeah." Him and the writers were like, "Yeah, we'll turn it into an actual episode." It's Tyler doing all the voices, and it got put on TV.
Oh.
Yeah. It's so
Oh, I
cool.
definitely want. Yeah, I definitely looked that up. That's very cool that they gave him the opportunity.
Yeah, I'll have to show you it in a bit. I'll have to show you a little bit
Yeah.
of it. It's so interesting, because I said to Tyler, look, you would not be able to do that nowadays because of union stuff, and then like just different sort of things, unsolicited
Well, there's
ideas.
probably
They
so
don't,
much
yeah,
more. Everything's so saturated also that
yeah,
people probably are getting things all the time. So if you got in at the right time, it might have been, you know, much
yeah,
more received, which is very, very cool. But
definitely,
that's kind of how Gendy was, though. I mean, I haven't talked to him for a long time, but he was a part of that group of guys. Many of them, my friends, many of those guys who worked on the shows that kind of grew up together a little bit in that time. And of course, they probably went off and had families around the same time. So there's a nice support for each other, but then also new talent because they were given that space, going back to the Hanna-Barbera thing where there was nothing,
yeah,
nothing, nothing. And then it was just regurgitating some of the same cartoons,
yeah,
just feeling a little old. And then suddenly there was this boom of new, really fantastic, funny cartoons for all ages, really bright colors, really great graphics. Just it was so refreshing. And I think those guys, like, once you're given an opportunity like that, based on your own sense of,
yeah.
originality, when
Hmm.
you see originality in somebody else, you can give them a hand up.
Definitely, yeah, for sure. Michael wants to know why haven't you done much voiceover work outside of Dee Dee? Because pretty much that's your
Well,
only voiceover credit.
yeah, it is my only voiceover credit. Again, going back to being an actor, I just the way my life went, I got pulled in some other directions, and then I ended up becoming a painter,
Hmm.
and most of my time was put towards that instead of pursuing the acting.
Yeah.
Although I will say, although I'm not a voiceover actor, I do have a podcast of my own.
Ooh.
So I do spend a lot of time, I think now, utilizing some of those talents and, that sort of, that I guess I would
Yeah.
say natural ability, but
Yeah.
also what I've learned over the years. It's just in a different, like I feel like I'm an actor, but maybe more for myself
Yeah.
rather than an entertainer, like an
Yeah.
actor creating a
Yeah.
platform for others.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes sense. That's a good answer. That's a really good
Hmm.
answer. Mr. Tim Shell Sherber wants to know what's it like to get into work at Hanna-Barbera? Because I believe you did all the recording sessions at Hanna-Barbera, or
Well, some of them, I think, and I don't remember again when it
near
switched, but we
Universal.
did
Yeah.
have Hanna-Barbera, And then we moved over to the Cartoon Network offices in Burbank. I think one was
Oh
in your,
yes, I've been.
yeah.
Yeah, I've stood outside them obviously when it was
Yeah,
like an old
yeah. So it
derelict
was
and stuff.
like upgraded. It was the same people. They just kind of upgraded when they got the new
Yeah, yeah,
company.
yeah. And then the other
They
one, which is near Universal, Hanna-Barbera in Studio
hmm
City. I've been outside there as well.
hmm
Really
So
cool.
that's where I was the
Yeah,
first season.
yeah.
hmm
Ah, right. I see. And then third season, you were in Burbank.
hmm
That's
hmm
so cool. I really wish I could have visited there because they had like a staircase going down and it had all sorts of like
That's
artworks from
right.
all the. You've seen it?
Yeah,
Oh
I
my
feel like
god,
I'm
I'm so
visualizing
jealous.
it, but it was
I'm
different.
so
I
jealous.
think again those guys that, but I think Hanna-Barbera was kind of like it just felt like it was a little dusty or something. And then
Yeah.
those guys came in and they kind of I don't to I was a part of that movement in, so it was again the beginning of a new generation, and so I wasn't really there before, but it was yeah it was cool.
Definitely. Yeah, it does sound quite cool. Forgive me if I mispronounce this. Super Samarian wants to know when you work on something awesome, do you notice? Do you notice? And when it's bad too. Like Dexter's Lab was cool. So what was your reaction to getting to work on that? Did you know it was going to be a hit?
Oh, okay. Right. Well, we talked about that a little bit earlier, but to
Yeah.
answer the question, no, I did not. No,
It was only
I
to
did not
answer that
know.
last bit because that's essentially what we sort of talked
I
about
did not
before.
know. And I'm still kind of like a little on the outside of it. I think it's just kind of how I do life. I'm a little like when really
Yeah.
amazing things, and it could be going back to the neurodivergence too. It could be a little
Yeah.
bit of a not recognizing how big of something is because all you recognize is your experience with it, and you just have to like are you sure it's a big deal. I don't know, it's like I can't always register unless someone tells me, so I'm constantly surprised even though it's been a long time. I'm still
Yeah.
surprised that it was a hit. Does that make sense? It's like my processing of it is like wow, but that's what I love so much about now getting to see meet people and talk about it like with you because I just feel so lucky getting to be a part of people's positive childhood memories.
Yeah.
You know,
Definitely.
there's so many times that we give back to, we give, but we don't always get to see what came of it,
Yeah.
especially in the
Yeah.
creative world, I think. And so to
True.
even have a little taste of that in my lifetime it feels really special because it's always received with joy. It's always received with this sense of connection. And I think that's what we want more of in the world, right? So to get to
Definitely.
be a part of it makes me feel really special. Like what
Oh.
a gift to be a part of people's positive memories. I had no idea. I had no idea where it was going. No idea.
Yeah.
But it's
Definitely.
great.
What a beautiful way to round off the episode.
Yeah.
Honestly, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on my show, talking all
Well,
things
thank you for
media.
having me.
You're welcome. Real quick before we wrap this up, could you tell me a little bit about well, not me because I know all about it. Could you tell people, you sitting right there at home, what's your podcast all about, and what can we expect from you as
Okay.
an artist in the
Yes,
future?
and if you want to link this, you can. This is
Of
a
course I
little
will.
out there, but I'm an artist. If those who can see, you can see some of my work
Wow, look
behind
at the
me.
bee. Oh, that's so
I
cool.
know, I know. I made that when I stopped, when I was moving through that, moving from being an actor to an artist or something else, because I felt like I
So
was giving
cool.
up when I did it, and it was hard for me.
Yeah.
But I still have that beautiful piece of work, and I'm really glad I became an artist because it's much more suited to
Yeah.
my personality. Well, they're both arts, right? They're just
Yeah.
different kinds of art.
Yeah.
And I make little and I actually take these sometimes. I have little handmade
Oh
Dee Dee. Sometimes
wow.
I'll make paint Dee Dee.
Oh, that's so sweet.
But
Oh.
that's just a fun thing. But no, that I do lots and lots of projects. The last several years I've done I painted well, a whole nother story, but my husband died in 16, yeah, 2016. And so
I'm
for
so
like,
sorry for your
so
loss.
thank you. Thank you. For several years, I just painted a kind of project, and which was all about women of history, women that overcame amazing odds, women that, got us where we are today, basically.
Yeah.
And so that was my portrait work, which kind of goes back to the acting in the sense I like to do portraits because it's like
Yeah.
characters. And then in the last couple of years, my next project has been working with the idea of ancient alchemy as a concept. And I've created an oracle deck, if you're into that kind of thing, teaching people about transformational changes. I'll show you those real quick. So you're asking me about my podcast, but now I can't tell you about that until I tell you that. So like little things like, for example, like interesting little vessels with sort of information about kind of magical stuff.
That's cool.
So the podcast is called Art and Alchemy Lab. I base it on Substack, but you can listen to it on any of the places or YouTube. And I interview other artists or people, thought leader type people, mystical people, anybody really who has something to say about one of these concepts. And we'll talk about that to educate. And then I talk about their work and how they bring creative change or practice change so that you don't get stuck and depressed. And then the third piece is that they bring in a piece of work that has affected them in some transformational way. So it's called Art and Alchemy Lab. I've been doing it for about a year.
Awesome. Well, I'll get all those linked in the description below. Thank you so much for coming on my show again, Allison. It's been a pleasure to make.
Thank you. Thanks for being such an entertaining and vivacious guest. You're my guest. Vivacious host. Yeah.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. You at home, thank you so much for watching this episode of In Conversation with ATF with the lovely Allison Moore, or Allison Adams if you want to. I nearly say Allison, but I don't know why. But anyways, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, comment, follow, subscribe, do anything, everything. And I'll see you very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
And cut.